Good morning. And welcome, both to those of you that are here in person and also everyone that's online. Thank you for joining us. My name is Bruce Baird, and I serve on the board of directors here at UoT of Tustin. And I'd like to take just a moment to remind you to please silence your cell phones, if you haven't already. Today, Craig Stevens Phillips will be speaking to us today about the 3 gates of loving speech. We are focusing on commitment number 5, which is eliminating gossip, from our fall program for our spirit groups. And we are studying the 15 commitments of conscious learning. So our Donovan Raitt is our musical guest today. He is an accomplished guitarist with advanced studies, and he also is on the faculty of Concordia University. And his songs today are all of his own compositions. Wanted to take a moment to tell you about what is coming up. So next Sunday, October 27th, Shara will host a salon. And that will be after the service at 11 a.m. and it'll start at 1 p.m. Now this is a chance to discuss anything from the service that you might have questions about or simply want to share about UoT of Tustin. So please put that on your calendar. It starts at 1 p.m. The next Sunday, November 5th, Aaron, our family life director, and Reverend Blair will host a community membership orientation for those who want to learn more about UoT and the path to becoming a member. It begins in room 5 at 1 p.m. over here in the education building. So then finally on November 10th, we will be hosting a community meeting after the 11 o'clock service. There will be a financial review, and we will also give you an update on the proposed preschool. So please put that on your calendar and plan to join us. Now this is the 3rd Sunday. And on the 3rd Sunday, the board gives an update. So I just wanted to share with you what's happening from a business perspective here at UoT of Tustin. We are reviewing getting a cooling system for the new open door bookstore so that it's even more comfortable in there, especially in the summertime. We approved replacing the microphone system. We've already talked about this a couple of weeks ago in the sanctuary. Now, the handheld and the clip microphones, they just weren't working any longer. We had totally exhausted the ability of our old system to take care of it. So we went with a new one, and the board decided to go with a more expensive system that would provide much more long-term service for our sound and our microphones. Fortunately, An anonymous donor donated the difference between the two systems. And we are very, very grateful. So we are working with our brokers, considering prospective tenants for this preschool here on our campus. This is in process, and we have more to report at that community meeting on November 10th. So just another good reason to put that on your calendar, okay? We have a new outreach committee that is considering many ways that we are going to make our campus more aware to our community. We are working earlier this year on preparing our budget for the next year, and that will be calendar year 2025. So we'll have it ready to go, hopefully, by the very first of the year. The advisory committee is currently supporting the board by doing research on the fees that are charged and the services that are offered by other organizations for the celebration of life. And they're going to report on that at the next board meeting. Okay, that's it. Probably more than you wanted to hear. And now, please stand and join for our congregational song, the Peace Song.
1, 2. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous one. To take it moment and live it moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Jack Ragland. I am a prayer chaplain here at Unity of Tustin, and today it is my honor to open the service by first lighting the Christ candle, then reading the daily word. We light the Christ candle as a symbol of our communion of love with all that is, the Christ consciousness within us, the light of God that shines in us, through us, and as us. Am I going to go through this again? The word for today is loving. The boundless love of God expresses through me. I am loving. To be loving means to be kind, understanding, and generous. It means forgiving grievances easily and seeking to understand myself and others. In striving to be loving towards others, I begin with myself. Exercising self-compassion when I make a mistake makes forgiving others easier. Taking time off for self-care makes it more natural for me to be a nurturing presence for others. Treating myself well helps my generosity and keeps it spontaneous. I love the very nature of God. I am a spiritual being, which means love is my nature. Through my loving nature, I am positive, optimistic, hopeful, and faith-filled. I am the heart and hands of God on earth. I am loving. The biblical reference comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 4 through 7. Love is patient. Love is kind. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. I will now say the daily word twice, the affirmation I will say twice. The second time, I invite each and every one of you to join me in this glorious affirmation. The boundless love of God expresses through me. I am loving. The boundless love of God expresses through me. I am loving.
That's me. Well, thank you all for having me here today. It's very nice to play for you all. I'm going to start again, as that introduction was kind enough to say, with some original music. This is a song called Open Air, and I hope you enjoy it.
any words come out of my mouth, prayer is happening. As the volume goes up on my voice, prayer is happening. Huh? This beautiful music that we heard, as a guitar player, I can say Donovan's a master. Woo! Yes. Like a prayer. The sound of the wind, the smile of your friend. All is prayer. Let's bring that as we pray today. I invite you to close your eyes. If you like, you can bring your right palm up over your heart, touch your heart. You can put your hands in a prayer position. Make sure the backs of your hands are touching your heart, which opens up this center in our bodies. And as you breathe, get a sense that your breath is flowing through that opening right in the middle of your chest, like a prayer. And as you breathe in, it's clearing out, it's opening up the heart so that as you breathe out, you can let go of any challenges or unease or stress or problems that you've been going through this week, or maybe even this morning before you got here. Breathe it out. Let it go. You can do this. One breath. Breathe it out into the hands of the divine, into God's hands, the flow of the Tao, who knows everything. It's that easy. As you continue to breathe into the heart, notice that there is a deeper and deeper space there for your prayer. There is a silence there that hears your prayer. And in the language of your own heart, because you know better than I do what you need today, what you're going through. And aren't we all going through our challenges right now, either here together or collectively? And in that knowing, as you breathe to the heart, let your words fall into the lap of God. Let God know what you need today. Perhaps something you lack or something that's going on in your life that you need help with. And don't we all need some kind of assistance right now from the divine? The language of your own heart, reaching into the heart. And now let the prayer dissolve into the silence of the heart. Know that you've been heard. How do you know? What is that in you that listens to your prayers? Wasn't there that? Something in you heard that prayer. What is that? God is listening more closely than your own breath. And God knows what you need. As we feel that space in the silent heart, listen to these words from the great Sufi mystic, the great poet, the enlightened one, Hafiz. When I am with you, everything is prayer. I prayed for change, so I changed my mind. I prayed for guidance, and learn to trust myself. I prayed for happiness and realized I am not the ego. I prayed for peace and learned to accept others unconditionally. I prayed for abundance and realized my doubt kept it out. I prayed for wealth and realized it is my health. I prayed for a miracle and realized I am the miracle. I prayed for a soulmate and I realized that I am already with the one. I prayed for love and realized it is always knocking, but I have to allow it in. Take a breath again and allow it in this morning. You are that.
The song is called Heroes and Friends.
Listen. as we come to meditation this morning, first of all, we might notice that meditation is already happening. It's not a destination. You're not going to take a step there. You're taking a step right here. And present here, meditation happens naturally. As we come to meditation this morning, just let go if there's any sense of struggle or any efforting or any movement to try to meditate. The minute you drop that, meditation happens. You start to rest. I invite everybody, let's take a breath together in a moment, and as we breathe out, we're going to make that wonderful yummy sound, that letting go. You know, like when you get home from a long day and you lay back in an easy chair, or your head hits the pillow at night and you go, oh my God, thank God, the day's over. Let's breathe in. Let it go. Feel it. Again, breathe in. I feel some good letting go this morning. One more time, make it count. Sink right into that. There it is. There it is. And listen to these words from the great Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. Silence is essential. We need silence. Just as much as we need air, just as much as plants need light. If our minds are crowded with words and thoughts, there is no space for us. This space is discovered through silence, which is discovered through meditation. As you come to your next in-breath, repeat gently to yourself, breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I rest in the silence. Breathing in, I smile. Breathing out, I rest in the silence. Feel it. And as you continue to feel the breath, feel that with each out-breath, you relax a little bit more into the silence this morning. That you allow yourself to rest a little bit deeper. Let the breath be your anchor to this silence, which is only now. Notice that as you breathe, as you listen to the silence, it is happening only right now, right here. And it's calling you home this morning. Its arms are welcoming you to rest. And when you notice, which may happen, that your awareness drifts off into the mind, into thought, perhaps some worry or something you'll do later, this is a moment of awakening. Something in you has recognized that you have gone away from here. This is good news. And in that moment, you can gently fall backward, back into the arms of your breath. back into the arms of this silence. Letting go. Come back to your breath again. And as you breathe, feel it even more deeply. Feel that you're breathing with the entire field of your body. Every inch of skin is taking in this breath, bringing your presence here even more powerfully. As you breathe out, let go. Let go of focusing on the breath for a moment and just listen. Notice that behind whatever sounds you hear, this silence is present. It is always now, and it is always here for you. Feel this morning that the recognition of this silence is the knowing and the recognition of God, or the Tao, or whatever you call that divine intelligence that is living you right now, living as you. Every moment it waits for our return. It waits for us to come out of the dramas of the world, the dramas in our own mind, and recognize who we are again. And that is peace. For many of us this morning, we might notice there's no compulsion, there's no need now to get to the next moment. This is enough. We're not worried about getting home to do whatever we think we need to do, or worried about this week at work, worried about what'll happen the next hour, this right here is it. This is it, and it's enough. And if you feel it's not enough, take another breath. That's enough. Right here. So many people are waiting. They think that peace and fulfillment is waiting for them around the corner when they do this, this, and this, and they go here, here, and here, and they get their checklist done. And you might notice that this is a delaying game. It never comes. Maybe for a brief moment, you have a good piece of chocolate. And then, what's next? What's next, for those of you that know, is a simple breath. And you're home again in the presence. Here it is. That simple? Yes. Yes. Make this the focal point of your life and you'll have everlasting fulfillment. In fact, nothing in the world will touch it. The phone just agreed with me. So, many of you, and I always invite people as we move into this deep meditation, you can stay with this while I say a few Dharma words. Dharma means truth, not speculation, not belief. Truth, capital T. There probably won't be much for you to disagree with what I say today, because that's what Dharma is. But I encourage you to rest in this even while I speak. Notice you can do that. You can listen to me and continue to rest. Many of you are taking part in the wonderful spirit groups that are going on right now, as Bruce mentioned at the beginning. And for those of you that are not, this Dharma talk will speak to you as well. Because this week is a topic that, for me, is one of the most powerful along the spiritual path. It's one of those practices that every spiritual teacher has said, every path has said, that coming to this practice is necessary if we are going to experience inner peace and fulfillment and contentment in our relationships. And the topic is eliminating gossip. Not a lot of gossiping going on right now. Notice? Just silence. So fulfilling, right? That's a great lesson. So all of us have probably heard this teaching before, and it's probably also true that all of us at one time or another has taken part in gossip. You know, it's something that for a while it just seemed like it was part of interactions with people in my own life, particularly when I was younger, but even beyond that. It was just natural to get together with people, and soon you were talking about somebody who wasn't there, and sometimes it wasn't very flattering. And of course, all of us here have also been the subject of gossip. If you think you haven't, even St. Francis was gossiped about, I guarantee you. You know? It's the way of things. One of my teachers used to say, just know, if you're gossiping about people, you're being gossiped about. And there's a reason that all spiritual teachers say that this habit we have of getting together and throwing somebody's name around, often their good name, is very insidious to relationships. It undermines integrity. It drags people down. Often it's hateful. All of you know that. And really, it serves absolutely no purpose but to separate us from others. I know that in the past when I've gossiped, usually it has to do with some kind of grievance with somebody. Maybe I just don't like that person, or I think I don't. And then we get with other people, and to feel superior, we start talking about this person. That's what I would notice about my own gossiping. It made me feel like I knew more than that person. I was superior to that person. It's interesting, isn't it, that while we think we have it figured out for everybody else, and the way we speak about them, well, if they just did this, let me tell you about this person. Man, I can't believe the way they live their life. Can you believe it? Right? It's interesting that we think we have it figured out for them, but I've noticed I barely have it figured out for myself. Right? So why am I wasting my energy talking about others? What does gossip give us? It's a good contemplation. For me, it's this feeling of superiority or authority, or being able to take somebody that I have a grievance with and cut them down to size in front of somebody else's eyes. And maybe they'll agree with me. That's really what we want. Let me tell you about so-and-so. You're not going to believe this. Oh, really? Yeah, I noticed that about them too. And on it goes. You all know. You're all laughing because, we've all been there, right? So there's a wonderful Zen story that encapsulates this negativity and this way that gossip undermines the integrity of others. And it's from the Zen tradition. And this is a true story, as far as I can tell. Really, if all I do is tell this story, it'll be enough today. It's one of those stories. And I found this story quite a while ago, but it just didn't fit with the Dharma talk I was giving that month. But then, through lucky synchronicity, this talk came back to me this week. It just popped into my head, and I get to tell you about it now. And it was so enlightening for me this week. Anyway, this has to do with the great Zen master Hakuin in Japan. This is many years ago. So during that time, there was a very notorious thief. His name was Tonkin. And from the time that he was just a youth, he fell into bad ways and he became a master thief. He was known far and wide. And finally, like all thieves, he was caught. And because he had done a lot, he was put in prison for quite some time. And while he was in prison, he had a chance to reflect on what he had done and the suffering that he had caused many by stealing their possessions and their money and other things. And so he vowed that when and if he got out of prison, he was going to seek out the way of the Buddha. He was going to dedicate his life to spiritual awakening. And that he would go from the prison and find the nearest Zen master and monastery that would take him. And there was, he didn't know whether they would take him or not. So the day came and Hakuin got out of prison. This Tonkin got out of prison. And he went, and wouldn't you know, the nearby temple is Hakuin, the great Zen master. And he goes, he speaks to Hakuin. He's completely honest about his past and that he's seeking to reform his ways. Because who knows, we can have the best intentions in prison and then we come out and maybe those old ways start up again. Oh, that looks enticing. Maybe I'll just take that for myself, right? So Hakuin agrees to take him on as a novice monk, gives him the robes, and he begins to live the monastic life. Well, in this community of monks, there were a few that knew this fellow. He was pretty notorious. So what is he doing here? So pretty soon, don't you know, they start gossiping to the other monks. Do you know who this is? Right? This is probably after meditation. They're all in peace. They're walking around. Oh, I'm just one with the Buddha right now. But hey, come here. Can you believe this? Word soon gets around, right? And people begin to, without even knowing him, they begin to distance themselves from him and not even know who this man is or his story, right? They don't know that he's talked to Hakuin about this. So about 3 weeks into his stay, a month, wouldn't you know, a pair of jade candlesticks go missing from the Zen temple. Well, all the senior monk and a few of the monks get together and they say, well, here it is. The master lets in this thief, and wouldn't you know, the jade candlesticks go missing? Obviously, it's this fellow. We can't even understand why he's here. This is what we get. And so things died down a little, but it created even more distance with this man. And so another month goes by. Oh, something else goes missing. A little money from the treasury. Another meeting. Senior monks, even more of the monks are there. A little more outrage. Can you believe this? It's obvious. We can't even believe that the master doesn't see it and take him out. They decide to go have a talk with Hakuin. He listens. They say, Master, isn't it? It's right in front of your eyes here. You've got to get rid of this fellow. Hakuin listens silently, and then he opens his eyes and he says, what proof do you have? Well, we don't have any proof, but what proof do we need? This guy has spent time in prison. He's obviously the thief. Hakuin says nothing more. They all go. A little while goes along, and again, there is another theft in the temple. Ooh, now it's at fever pitch. Can you imagine? There is another meeting, but this time it happens in the whole assembly of the monks. This gentleman is there now. And the senior monk gets up and he starts in. Okay, so this is the third time, Master. When are you going to wake up to the fact that this man is a thief and you are still allowing him to be a part of this temple? Hakuin listens with compassion. All of the grievances come out. And so he motions to Tankai, this man, and he says, come up and stand beside me. He comes up. Hakuin says, this man, he came to me after getting out of prison, wanting to learn the way of the Buddha, wanting to reform his previous life so that he could be more loving and kind and repay his debt through meditation. And here you are, all of you who have been here for many, many years without any proof. You're accusing this man. You have said the most despicable things about him. All of this has gotten back to me. And he said, you know, here's what I want you to know. I would rather have one monk like this man who is sincere in his quest for enlightenment and who is trying his best to reform himself than I would all of you with your gossip and your innuendo and not living the past. So here's what I want you to do. Tomorrow I want all of you to leave. And if all I have is this one monk, this one student, this will be enough for me. Because I would rather have one like him than 100 like you. Oh, it's said that by the end of his little Dharma talk, monks were crying. They felt so much shame and remorse over the way they had treated this man with no proof. And so, suffice it to say, they all decided to stay. 2 weeks later, there was a man caught in a nearby village trying to sell the jade candlesticks. And he was later put in prison because he was a thief as well. It was never this man. Of course, word got back to the monks. And this taught them an even deeper lesson about gossip, about assuming the worst in another human being, even one who's trying to reform their life and on the spiritual path. we can remember that when we are around others and we begin to open our mouth in a way that is unkind to another. And all of this, we may wonder how gossip seems to be such a part of what we do. How can I possibly stop this in my own life? It seems so natural, especially in families, doesn't it? You know, so-and-so, yeah. So the answer is in a teaching from Rumi. And some of you know this, but perhaps you'll hear it differently today. Rumi said, before you speak, let your words pass through 3 gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Breathe that in. Can you imagine? Imagine today that you are hearing these words and you decided to take on this practice, even for the rest of the day. No more gossip. Or for a week, or till next month. But I'm not going to speak of others when they are not in my presence, because that's what gossip is. And that as you move about, you decide when you have this urge to speak about somebody, the first question is, and this is right out of Byron Katie, is it true? Is what I'm about to say true? Not speculation, not my belief, not what I feel might be right, but is it true? Is it true? Very simple. Is it reality? Now, if you feel that it is true, go to the next question. Is it necessary? Oh, it gets a little dicier here. Well, is this something I really need to say? Is this going to further things? Is this going to perhaps be uplifting? Or add to the situation in some way rather than tear this person down. So you may get there and you may feel, yep, this is absolutely necessary because I am really angry and I'm going to say this. Then we get to the third gate, the third question. Is what I'm getting ready to say kind? Breathe this in. Are the words getting ready to come out of my mouth going to be respectful? Are they going to be uplifting? Are they going to be kind? Usually for me, that's the end of it. Because gossip, in my experience, is never kind. It's never kind. That puts an end to it right there. And we all know that. Have you ever gossiped about somebody? And then the next day you see them? Ooh, it's like, wow, you feel very uncomfortable, don't you? Sometimes. Because you've just been putting their name through the mud with 3 or 4 other people, and here they are standing in front of you, a human being. And you got to pretend that you can be kind to them or straight with them. And this is what letting go of gossip will give us. It gives us the ability to have our relationships be clear with others. We don't have to worry about keeping a track on what we just said about them, right? Relationships become clear. They're based in integrity and compassion. Your relationships get stronger when you stop talking about others and thinking that you know what is best for them. Most gossip is based in rumor, as we saw in the story. And I always find that if I'm in a situation and those 3 gates, I'm not really sure, maybe I've convinced myself that this gossip I'm going to speak is really true, but it's also kind or necessary. But I have a doubt about that. There's a feeling, and all of you have had this before you speak about somebody, that kind of stress you get in your solar plexus, like, oh, this doesn't feel in alignment with my spiritual path. So there's a teaching from Taoism. When in doubt, say nothing. Say nothing. And if that's still not enough, there's what I consider a 4th gate that comes from Zen. In Zen, gossip is considered one of the 7 poisons. And the antidote to this poison is silence. What we've been sitting in today, what many of you are still feeling. What does that look like? It means that if you're with other people and they start gossiping, you have a choice not to speak, to not take part. In fact, you can remove yourself from the situation and walk away. If you're really brave, you can speak up and say, you know, what I hear coming from you is a grievance. You obviously have an issue with this person. Have you thought about going and speaking to them personally about this instead of in this arena? Because I don't feel comfortable with this. You don't even need to say that. But you can invite them to actually take care of it at the source. Isn't that powerful? By the way, this doesn't mean that we can't speak about others, right? When it's kind, when it's uplifting, of course. Also, speaking about others when you're with a therapist, that's a third party who's completely removed from that. That's what they're trained to do. That's beautiful. In fact, that's a great arena to take your grievances to, a first step for sure, right? It doesn't mean that if I see somebody, I can't say, oh, what a beautiful dress you have. Not because I'm flattering, but because I'm noticing this. That's sweet words. That's kind words. All of our gossip gets replaced by kindness. And then watch how your relationships improve. Watch how your relationships flourish. And those relationships that aren't meant for you, right, that are somehow dysfunctional, they will go by the wayside. But they'll do it without you making a person wrong or forcing that on them. It just goes in the flow of the Tao. So let's close our eyes for a moment and really, really come to this teaching of the three gates. Perhaps some of you today sitting here are saying, I'm going to make this my practice this week. I'm going to let go of gossip. Use the three gates. Is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? And feel as you breathe that power that your words have in your interactions. Rumi's wisdom is getting at this. Your words contain power. They contain the power to uplift and create love and kindness, or they have the power to tear somebody apart and perhaps make their life way more difficult than it already is. Because as I said before, we are all going through our difficulties right now. Why add to that? Take a breath of that. And listen to these words from Don Miguel Ruiz. Be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Say what you mean. Avoid using the word to speak against yourself or to gossip about others. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. Take a breath of that. Such freedom in letting go of gossip. So as we continue to breathe, just one last comment that I'll make is, I know I've been talking about gossip as rumor. And when I got here this morning, there was a rumor going around the campus that Elvis had appeared. Maybe some of you remember back in the 70s after Elvis passed away, they had sightings of him all over. Do you remember that? Some people saw him at gas stations. It's interesting where they saw Elvis at. It used to be like at a gas station or a diner. There'd be Elvis having a peanut butter and banana sandwich, right? Remember? Well, I've heard this gossip, and the truth is, I got here, and after hearing this gossip, I actually saw Elvis. He was actually here. It was not a rumor. It was the truth. So I don't know, but I heard that Elvis might be coming into the sanctuary soon. Is it true, Elvis? I spoke to him for a moment before the service, and he said that, oh, wait a minute. Oh my gosh, it's true.
What? Hell, I thought I was in Graceland. Oh, this is Unity of Tustin. Oh, I see. All right. So I'm so glad to be here, and it's wonderful. And, Elvis was the king of rock and roll, and he was the king of rock and roll. Now, king is allowed to anoint the queen. And did you know, here at Unity of Tustin, we have royalty with us. We have a queen. We have a royalty queen with us. And her courtyard helpers, Dawn, are going to adorn her today as we bring the queen up. So I'd like to see our ladies of the courts, please accompany our queen up to this place. Thank you.
Thank you, Elvis. Thank you. Yes, the rumor is true. We have royalty in the house, and our royalty turns 75 on Tuesday. So to Queen, our royalty, who has led us with such quiet authority for some 20 years, we would like to invite up to the throne Her Highness, Mary Jean Hawes. And Mary Jean, it's only fitting that we properly adorn you. And to formalize your crowning, your queening, I believe the king has a coronation song.
Well, we know that, Mary Jean, you love Elvis, and so I feel flattered to be able to sing for you. All right. Maestro. Well, no one else can understand me, when everything I do is wrong. You give me hope and consolation. You give me strength to carry on. And you're always there to lend a hand in everything I do. That's the wonder of you. Yeah. Hey, James, play something for the lady. I guess you'll never know the reason why you love you as you do. That's the wonder of you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. To the Queen. Let's stand up for the Queen.
Hail to the Queen! So does Her Highness have some words of deep wisdom for her subjects?
Well, because I haven't had enough attention this week. I needed this today. So some of you know that being 75 has been kind of a mind thing for me. It's really, yeah. So, but then I started thinking about it, and I thought, you know, when I was 30, I went through a big, like, oh, I'm 30, and I haven't done this, and I'm not married, and I don't have any kids. And then when I was 40, I already had a child, I was married, and I was pregnant. So I had to forget it. 40 wasn't a big deal for me for that reason. But then 50 came, and that was kind of a big deal. 55, for some reason, I was really like, oh my God, I'm 55, and I haven't done this, and I haven't done that. And then, of course, there's 60, and 65, and 70, and now 75. And I really started thinking, some of this is about all of our expectations, right? All of what society says it's supposed to be like, and at this point you're supposed to do this, and you're not supposed to do that. I heard something about a knitting group at a church, and I thought, well, that's what I should be doing, because I'm 75 now. But anyway, I thank you so much for being in spiritual community with me, and all the learning we've done and the growth we've done. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And thank you, Mary Jean, for your amazing leadership over all of these years and for your beautiful use of your wise authority. And as you all know, we have a blessing in unity called We Love You, we bless you, we truly appreciate you, and we behold the Christ you are. And of course, as subjects, we want to bless the Queen with that. But I thought it'd be nice for you to first bless us using the royal we. And your scepter.
Oh, okay. We love you, we bless you, we behold the Christ you are, and we behold the Christ you are. We truly appreciate you.
And we behold the Christ you are.
Thank you.
Happy birthday and happy 75. We love you. We love you. We love you.
So I'm Jeff Penny, and I guess I have to follow the king and the queen, so I'll try. But we'd like to welcome our new guest in person and online. We're so grateful that you've joined us today, and if you're here today, what a day to be here. Here at Unity, we believe in many paths, one God, and our mission is to transform lives and inspire people to make a positive difference in our world. We are a fully inclusive community of all walks of life, and we would like you to know that whatever your background and wherever you are on your spiritual path, we're glad you're here to continue your journey with us. Our ushers are coming forward with flowers and welcome cards for those who are here for the first or second time. So if you're comfortable doing so, we invite you to raise our hands so we can recognize you and present you with these gifts. Welcome. Yes. Yay. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today. We invite everyone to join us after the service for food and fellowship around the hospitality table. Also, as always, we have our Reiki practitioners wearing green ribbons and our prayer chaplains wearing white ribbons who will be at the entrance to the meditation gardens, ready to offer prayer and healing support. All prayers are confidential, and they love to pray with you. In addition, there are prayer request forms in the seat backs in front of you and at the table at the guard's entrance where you may leave your request in the prayer box. They will be lovingly held in prayer by our silent prayer team ministry. There's always so much happening here in our campus of consciousness. Please make sure to check your email each Friday for our weekly e-newsletter and visit the welcome table for information about the many upcoming and ongoing classes, events, and opportunities to serve as part of our beloved Unity of Tustin community. Now is the time for a love offering as we share our financial gifts in support of our ministry. The various electronic ways to give are here on the screen and listed in the card in the seat backs in front of you. We also pass the offering bags to receive in-person donations in whatever form that you choose to give. We invite you to briefly hold your hand over the offering bag as it passes along, taking the moment to connect with the spirit of giving. We are grateful for your faith and generosity. And now Craig will share an offering message and blessing.
Today is a great example of this beautiful community, isn't it? This celebration that we get to come to every Sunday, take part in the classes, and be a part of this amazing community, which Mary Jean has been a part of for so long. And I always say, I know this is like a broken record, but this is really true for me every time that I show up on Sunday, or I'm here on Wednesday to lead meditation. And that is, everything appears here not by magic. It appears here for the foundation of that is the resources and the donations you give. The lights are on, Tony is here, I'm sitting here. Everything is happening because you have given something to make that happen. And as we know spiritual law, what you give, tenfold comes back to you in a circle, right? So give what you can and give it knowing that that is the key to keeping this ministry going, okay? All right, thank you everyone. Oh, the love offering blessing. Let's repeat that. Okay. Divine love as we blesses and multiplies all that we are, all that we have, all that we give, and all that we receive. Woo.
Oh, that's me. Didn't know I had to follow Elvis. So. Thank you again for inviting me back to be here today. This song is called A Moment in Time.
Thank you, Donovan, for that just joyful song and all your musical gifts today. Thank you for joining us today. As we close, please stand, if you're able, as we affirm the prayer for protection together. Ready? The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Now go forth, and may all our words to one another be kind. Namaste. Go Dodgers! That is so intoxicating. I love it. Thank you. Yeah.